Hi everyone, let's get this thing started. So welcome to this webinar on simpler LS Omni. My name is Peter Thor Sigurðsson. I'm the product director for LS Omni. And before we begin, let's go over a few practicalities. This is a webinar, meaning that all participants are muted. So, but regardless, I encourage you to ask questions, and please do so. So in order to ask questions, please type them in the questions panel that you have on your GoToWebinar control panel as we go along. And then at the end of the webinar, where I've covered all my slides, we will view the questions and ask each and one of them individually. This webinar is being recorded, so that means that you will get a link to the recording of this webinar, both the video and the audio, so you can view it again if you so like. So with that in mind, let's get started. Simpler LS Omni. The objective of this webinar is to introduce the changes that we're doing in LS Omni. Namely, we are making radical changes to the development of LS Omni with the goals of making the implementation simpler and in some ways giving you, the partners, full control, enabling you to implement LS Omni independently of LS Retail. So what changing? Well, before we dive into all the details, I want to point out that this change is actually twofold. Firstly, it covers our mobile loyalty apps, and then it covers our mobile POS and mobile inventory apps. So let's just dive in and start with the solution and see what we are doing there. So what we are effectively doing with our mobile loyalty solution is that we are releasing the source code of our apps to the partners. This applies both to our retail apps as well as the hospitality apps, and we are making them available for download on our partner portal. Now, what this does is that this removes the dependency on LS Retail from the equation, enabling partners to implement and deploy our mobile loyalty apps independently and without any involvement of LS Retail. I know quite a few of you have already either implemented our mobile loyalty solution or have been thinking about it, and I know I've discussed this with quite a few of you, and basically you have expressed concerns that the resources here at LS Retail don't possess the capability of all the throughput, meaning that I know some of you have been waiting for responses and deliverables from the LS Omni team while implementing mobile loyalty, because we are the only ones that could do that. And I know that some partners have been a bit reluctant to dive into our mobile loyalty solution exactly because of this this notion of being dependent on a finite number of resources here in the Omni team in Iceland. So basically what we are doing here is that we are now remedying this. We are now making the source code completely available to you as partners, so you do not have to depend on the resources at LS Retail anymore to be able to implement and deploy our mobile loyalty solution. And I believe this is a change that will be very warmly embraced by our partner channel. All right, so what we have here is that we are enabling you to download the standard product. It's simply branded at LS Retail, and as I said, you're now at full liberty to do anything your customers want and need. We all know this, whether it's simply to replace the logo of the app or perhaps change the color palette to match the colors of the business in question, and all the way to doing some radical customizations. And as it says there, if you are reluctant to dive into mobile development, or if the skill set isn't quite there yet, then you can always rely on our consulting department to provide all the customizations that you need. One thing I would like to mention here finally is that many of you realize and know the strength of showing up for a demo with the loyalty app already branded in the look and feel of the prospect. And we have been doing or providing this service for quite a few of you. That is to allow you to send us a logo and send us a color palette for a particular business that is a prospect and you are trying to sell this solution to. And then we have been recompiling the apps with the logo embedded and with the color palette set. And as I said, many of you partners realize the benefit of showing up with an already branded app for that particular prospect. And we really realize this, and what we will be doing, this is not quite supported yet, but we are enabling this to a large degree, meaning that we have very firmly on our roadmap, and we'll be releasing this very soon, is the ability to upload logos on the fly to the Omni server, and also to configure the color palette in configuration files on the Omni server. So instead of having to recompile the apps as we do now to change logos and colors, logos and colors are simply configurable and the app will pick it up. So I believe that's also a very good addition to what we're doing. So last but not least, we need to mention also the operating systems. And as you know, we support all three major operating systems when it comes to our loyalty apps: Android, iOS, and Windows. But at this point in time, we are only releasing the source code for the Android and the iOS versions. We're leaving out the Windows platform, and that is simply because we are in the middle of transitioning the Windows app from the old format to the new Universal Windows Platform format. So basically the releasing of the source code for the Windows version will follow very shortly. We are not discontinuing development on the Windows platform at all. All right, so how are we communicating this to our partners? Well, on Thursday, October 20th, we sent out the partner announcement, which you all received, along with posting a news item on our lsretail.com website. And now today we are doing two webinars for our partners, one now at 8 o'clock GMT and one at 4 o'clock in the afternoon GMT, catering to different time zones. So I believe with the information found in the partner announcement and on our website, along with the information given in this webinar, you should then have all the information regarding the changes we are announcing, along with information on how to get started with deploying our mobile loyalty apps all by yourselves. And with that in mind, let's take a closer look at how to get started. And I know that many of you are eager to get your hands dirty and dive in, but I also know that app development might perhaps not be something that all of you are all that familiar with. So to help you along, we have tried to explain what we call the path to deployment. And that is, what exactly do you need to do to be able to deploy our loyalty apps? Which are the necessary steps, ranging from the pure basics of how to get a hold of the source code, all the way to uploading the apps to the respective app stores and then successfully maintaining them. So in our efforts, we have created a set of support material for those of our partners that are ready to take the plunge. And the first to mention is that we have made a short high-level introduction video, which is found on YouTube, that explains all of this. And in this video, we are stepping through the phases of deploying the app. As I said, all the way from acquiring the source code, what is the skill set that you need as partners, how to upload apps to the app stores, dealing with all the developers' certificates needed and the creation of all the developer accounts, how to maintain those apps successfully, etc., etc. And so you will find a link to this video in all of our published material on these changes, like for example, just in the partner announcement that you just received. Or you can simply go to YouTube and search for LS Omni changes and find it there. So let's do just that and take a look at the video. So we simply go to YouTube. We search for LS Omni changes, and there it is. Let's go to theater mode, and I'm now going to just play the YouTube video because I believe that it explains very well what we are doing here. So it gives a very good high-level overview of the changes being introduced. So here we have it, the short video with the high-level overview. Dear partner, we are simplifying LS Omni. We are happy to announce that we are releasing the source code of our mobile loyalty apps to our partners. With our apps now fully available, we are in full control to start deploying our mobile loyalty apps to our customers independently and without involvement of anyone. Now we understand that developing and deploying apps might be complicated. How do you do it? Well, the first thing to do is to acquire the source code. So simply log on to our partner portal and find it in the download section for our LS Omni plugins. You can also find the download link in the description below this video. With the source code in hand, let's take a look at the skill set needed and the development tools to build the apps. As you know, LS Omni Mobile Loyalty is available as native apps on iOS, Android, and Windows, and we built a solution using Xamarin Platform, allowing us to deploy all of our apps using Sharp with no Objective-C or Java code to worry about installed .NET and C. Therefore, generic skill set needed is proficiency in .NET development, preferably using C. And for the development tools, you have a choice between Microsoft Visual Studio or Xamarin's Xamarin Studio, both very proficient techniques. In the description below this video, you find a link to additional documentation on such as how to download Xamarin, how does it work, how does it enable us to write custom apps, and then share code across companies. So with the source code downloaded and all development tools installed, it's time to get our hands dirty and dive into the code. Obviously, we cannot do a detailed code walkthrough through the introduction video, so we have prepared a separate video explaining all you need to know about the solution quality and performance of that. The video also provides you with a code walkthrough, so you should be capable of diving into the project and delivering the end-to-end loyalty app customers. You find a link iOS app goes to the App Store, and that goes to Play, and Microsoft, of course, has its own store. Now, of course, it's not general. So I'm getting questions here on the panel that we have problem with the audio of the video. Can you not hear the audio, or is the sound quality bad? Okay, so one of you says here you have decreased the volume, and I did that because I got reports on bad sound. So if I max the volume and resume the video, can you report back to me very quickly if the sound is then adequate? Thank you. Sounds good. No worries. This is all explained in great detail in the accompanying document. Just click on the link in the description. With the apps deployed and downloadable from the App Stores, the next step is to enter into the maintenance space, which is a bit different with apps as opposed to standard desktop app. We are happy to announce. Okay, it seems that we are reporting very bad audio when we're going abroad. So, dear people, please just start your own YouTube session, search for LS Omni changes, and I'll give you approximately 46 minutes to listen to the YouTube or watch the YouTube video, and then we'll resume here in exactly 5 minutes. So thanks. There's a little bit more time and then we'll resume. All right, I think we've allowed a sufficient amount of time to pass for all of you to be able to watch the video. If not, then you can also just watch it at the end of the session. So let's continue with the webinar. All right, so we were speaking of the supporting material that we have made, with this video being one of it. In the video, you heard me mention a detailed document on the process, and that's exactly what we've done. We've created a document describing the process of going through this, where we pretty much lay out the same procedure as we're doing in the video, but we are a little bit more detailed. And this document also provides you with all the links and basically pointing you in the correct direction of how to start developing using Xamarin, which is the development tool that we use. And in this document, you will find links on, as I said, how to familiarize yourselves with Xamarin, how to download it, how to start working with Xamarin, and there are links there especially on how to deal with uploading the apps to the respective app stores. Xamarin publishes chapters on deployment strategies with regards to each and every kind of app store, the specific app store, Google Play or the Windows App Store. And so in this document you have links pointing you in at all the needed material to be able to succeed in this endeavor. In the video, we also mention a project overview video for diving into the code video. And we have also made a very brief one, though, introduction video where we go over the topology of the project. So this is equal to a fellow developer sitting next beside you, opening up the solution for the first time and just giving you a very brief walkthrough of where all the components are within the project and how the project is being built up. But we follow very standard procedures with regards to how to build up the projects. So if you study the guides on the Xamarin website, you will find that we are adhering very much so to the standard practices found there. So with this, having mentioned this support material, let's take a look at where we can find it and where we can find the source code. So I trust that you have watched the video by now, and repeatedly you heard me say that you could find this material in the description below, and that's exactly true. If you expand here on the description, you will see here links to supplementing material. So that means that the document that I've been referring to is found by chasing this link here, and the project walkthrough video, which is also a YouTube video, is also referenced here as well. So that's where you can find the document and the video. And if we look at the source code, then how to acquire the source code is simply to log on to our partner portal, partners.lsretail.com. And I'm already logged in, so you would need to log in, of course. And then you go into the products, go to LS Omni, and you go to the download section for LS Omni. And now we have created a new folder here called source code. If you click there, you can see that you both have access to the the document, the above mentioned document with regards to how to deploy and get familiarized with all the environment, along with, of course, the source code. And we have created zip files for each vertical, so to speak, retail and hospitality. So this is where you locate the source code and get access to all the documentation needed. But of course, we realize that documentation is one thing, and getting hands-on training is another. So we have been scheduling, or we are planning on scheduling training session for this. So if you need help with regards to how to get started with deploying our loyalty apps, then you will shortly find advertised sessions where we can help you to get started. So all to be advertised shortly. All right, so just before we leave the topic of us releasing the source code of our loyalty apps, I wanted to show you this diagram here and tie this all a bit together. Now, many of you have seen this image before, but let's look at it from a slightly different angle this time. So what we can see by these changes is that we are effectively categorizing our LS Omni solutions or LS Omni apps into two families, so to speak. We have the customer-facing solutions, and then we have the sales associate-facing solutions. The customer-facing solutions would be the e-commerce clients and the mobile loyalty app. And the sales associate-facing solutions would be our mobile POS and our mobile inventory app. And we are basically going into a uniform way with regards to how these two families behave, both source code wise and licensing wise. So this means that we are now, with this change on our mobile loyalty app, now all the customer facing solutions are open source to the partners, because our e-commerce solution has always been open source towards our partners, so that now it's being joined in by the mobile loyalty solution. So all customer-facing solutions are open source to the partners, and what we are licensing there is the API or the web service interface that these apps consume here on the Omni server, the API that I'm circling here with my mouse. So what this means is that you have total flexibility in connecting to LS Omni from the customer-facing solutions, meaning that if you have a third-party e-commerce vendor that you need to connect to LS Omni, or if you have a connection with a very good app creating company, and you would like to do a loyalty app from them instead of utilizing the base core of the LS Retail loyalty app, then no problem. You have the full source code at your disposal, so you can cherry pick from our source code what exactly you would like to use, create even your own app, and basically have that consume the very same web services that the LS Retail mobile loyalty app consumes. And then on the other hand, we have the sales associate facing solutions, the mobile inventory app and the mobile POS app, and they go along with the closed source code methodology, and the licensing structure there is, as you probably very well know, bound to the Microsoft device user, meaning that each and every device is being licensed there, and not the API provided on the Omni server like we have for the customer-facing solutions. So a bit of a summary of how it all ties together. And speaking of the sales associate facing solutions, let's move over to the mobile POS and our mobile inventory solutions and see what we are changing there. Now, what we are effectively doing there is that we are branding them as LS Retail and making them as publicly available as we possibly can. Now this means that the apps are available on Google Play for Android, and they are also available on our LS Omni download site for, yes, Android and iOS as well. So what's different here, you might ask? Isn't this what you've been doing all along? Well, no, not at all. And the change is all about readiness to deploy. Those of you who have already downloaded our mobile POS or our mobile inventory app will remember that when you downloaded them, these apps were branded as the quality store. Basically, they were branded with the name of the store in our demo data. So, okay, you download the app, your customer evaluates them, and once everything is settled and it's time to move into production and deploy the app, then in the past you needed to connect or contact LS Retail to rebrand the mobile POS into the name of the business in question. So you were again dependent on LS Retail to be able to deploy the mobile POS. And now we are changing this. Now the apps are simply branded as LS Retail, so there is no need to involve LS Retail when moving from the evaluation phase into the deployment phase. The only thing you need to do now is to point the app to your specific instance of Omni server linked to your instance of LSNAV containing the actual data, instead of pointing the app to the Omni server or instead of the default link to the Omni server it comes along with, where the Omni server is connected to our LS Retail instance of LSNAV containing our demo data. So the app is simply branded as LS Retail, and the only thing you need to do is to point it to the correct version of the Omni server instead of having to contact us to rebrand the app to be able to deploy it. So that's a very big change as well. But if the customer insists on having the point of sale branded or rebranded in the name of his or her business, or likes to dress the app in the correct company colors, we can of course continue to accommodate that via our consulting department and of course at standard rates. And of course this applies also to all sorts of customizations that might be needed, whether they're big or small. So, to recap, we are releasing the source code of our mobile loyalty apps, allowing our partners to deploy the apps independently and without the involvement of LS Retail. In this round, it's Android and iOS, and then the Windows version will follow shortly. And also, we are simplifying the deployment procedure of our mobile POS and mobile inventory apps by branding them as LS Retail, allowing our partners to move from the evaluation phase to the deployment phase without any involvement of LS Retail, except of course, as I said, if there are some customizations in play. So we here at LS Retail, we truly believe that these changes will simplify how you are able to work with the LS Omni solutions. And I can share with you here that these changes have been very warmly embraced by those partners who have already caught wind of these changes and what we are doing here. All right. So this was a high-level overview of the changes we're doing. So let's take a look at the questions. If you haven't typed in the questions already, please fire away now, and I'll ask every one of them. So let's go over the questions. Okay. Thank you very much for reporting on the sound quality for the video. A lot of you did that, so a big thank you for that. We have some reports on that this is fantastic news. Also, thank you. Right, and okay, so we have a question here from Mike Wise. Will the mobile POS and the mobile inventory go the same way as mobile loyalty? And the short answer there is no. Basically, due to the different licensing mechanisms, we are unable to release the source code of the mobile POS and the mobile inventory solution without losing all traction of it, because we would be exposing all of the licensing mechanism as well. So at this point in time, the mobile POS and the mobile inventory app will remain closed code, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to change this, and as soon as we can, we will. And Mike also has a further question. If a partner is allowed to make changes in the future as for the loyalty app, and I'm going to combine this question with a question from Jakob Elton Mortensson, who is asking, will you release the Omni service source code in the future? And the answer to this question is yes, we will. The aim here is that we are refactoring the Omni server with that in mind, that all the business logic and all domain objects will become open code, meaning that just the frame of the Omni server with the licensing mechanism will remain closed code. So this will allow you as partners to introduce new changes in LSNAV, let's say introduce a new web service or add new data elements, and you will have access in source code to carry those changes all the way through the Omni server and to the apps, and then on the e-commerce platforms and on the mobile loyalty, you will have the full liberty to do exactly what you want with the apps there as well. So yes, we are responding to these requests by opening up the source code for the Omni server. Okay, so then we have Manoj asking, customers who had already implemented the e-commerce with NopCommerce platform, do you release new versions till 3.8? Yes, we are currently working on supporting NopCommerce version 3.8, and it will be released shortly. And Manoj has also another question. Whether LS Retail will stop developing the apps? Absolutely not. We will continue full force. The only difference is that we'll be sharing the source code now. We have no intentions of stopping the development, and we'll carry on full force. Okay, so we have some repeat questions here. Jakob is asking further, does this include releasing the Omni Windows server as well? Yes, basically we will release in due time, after a little bit of refactoring, the everything you need to run the Omni service as well. The only thing that will remain closed code will be the bare core of it, connecting it all together, meaning that it will allow us to not publish all the licensing features as well, because the Omni server, as you have seen from this webinar, controls the licensing mechanism for our e-commerce and our mobile loyalty platforms. So, okay. Okay, then we have a question from Wilmar Walters. We have already implemented loyalty apps. How do we proceed with these? How can we transfer source code and access to the app stores? A very good question. As I said, many of you have already started the deployment or the voyage of working with our loyalty apps. And in those cases, we have, without question, rebranded the loyalty apps for your customers. So in that case, it's simply the question of, or simply the case of contacting us, and we will release the source code to you personally with all the changes that we did for your deployment at the time. So if you have any customizations, you will get all the source code for exactly the customization that we did for you, so you can merge that code with the code that we are releasing. And then how to access the app stores. We will simply, if we have created a developer account and created an account with either the App Store or Google Play in the name of your company, we will simply hand over or relinquish all control of that account over to you, so you can then simply resume what you have already done, just with the exception that you now have the source code. And as I pointed out numerously, both in the video and here, is that if you do not intend to dive into mobile app development and you would like just to continue to rely on our consulting services, then nothing will change. We will just continue with the branching made for your customers and basically continue with the apps for your customers. Then Manoj is asking, do you have any plans to release a mobile inventory app for iOS in the future? And Manoj, I'm happy to inform you that we already have, and the iOS app is for mobile inventory is ready, and you can download it from our LS Omni download site that I mentioned in my slides. All right, so if you have any last-minute questions, please keep them coming. I have exhausted the list of questions as is, so I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes, or 1 minute or so to type in a new question if you have any. No, it seems that the questions are exhausted. Then I would just like to thank you very much for the session. Apologies for the sound quality of the YouTube video. I hope that I gave you enough time to search for it on your own and to view it on your own. If you did not manage, then please do so now after the webinar. And as I said, sorry, now we got we got some more questions in now, and I started to read them. Let me cover those just in a minute. As I said, this webinar is or has been recorded, so all registered participants will receive a link to the recording of this webinar, so you can view it and you can review it at a later date and pick up information for this. Okay, let me just answer these two. There are 2 questions that have come in here last minute. Let me just go over those very quickly, and those are for warehouse management for our inventory app. We have Ahmad and Manoj asking if our mobile inventory app works with advanced warehouse, and if a concept introducing bin and zones for warehousing will be supported in our mobile inventory app. And the short answer to that is that we do not support warehousing in our mobile inventory app. It's only for the inventory processes. But if you would like to ask further with regards to this, then please just write me an email and I'll get back to you with more detailed information. So you will find my email address at the very first slide when we will publish the slides. It's just PETUR or Peter at lsretail.com. So with that in mind, thank you everyone for joining in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for asking the questions. Very much appreciated. A lively session. So as I said, please write me an email if you have any further questions. So with that in mind, thank you very much and have a very nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.